Hey, welcome. Fill the Speed here at beautiful Glen Helen on a great day here today. We have some testing going on. Some factory teams testing out their new settings for maybe outdoors coming up.
Could be.
We're not open today, but on occasion we have factory teams lease Glen Helen when there's nobody here to see what they're doing, their secrets.
I know who it is. Can I say it? Or
No, maybe it's Ricky Carmichael coming back. Maybe he's coming out of retirement, or Ryan Villapoto. I have here Jeff from MTA on this episode of Fill the Speed. Before we get to why Jeff's our guest on this episode, make sure you check out the last episode of Fill the Speed. It brings you up with all the stuff that's happening here at Glen Helen. The last, I think today we start, actually this Thursday, the 2nd, is going to be where we raise practice fees to $30, but you won't see that. There's 2 programs that we're doing. If you go back to that video and see, we have the Belly app, and then we have prepaid gift cards that if you purchase one of those or both, you'll save money. So make sure you go back and check that out. Couple things is starting today. Today is February 1st. All the tickets for the Glen Helen National Experience go on sale today. RV camping, we have an auction going on right now for prime RV camping spots. The link to that is on our website. It's actually on the front page. You can see it. It's an auction so that way it's fair. Everybody can just, because those sites are really, really incredible. And parking your motorhome there is kind of, some of the views those guys got. They open up their back toy hauler and they have this whole view of the track, and you're watching a Glen Helen National from your bed. Yeah. Right?
Like the party in the pits, right?
Yeah, exactly. So check that out. And then also, all that stuff, and then just general parking and camping and tickets for the National go on sale today. So get your tickets early for the go away when we sell out, which could happen.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Before we kind of get into things, there's Supercross. Man, what a start of the year. I'm a Ken Roczen fan. I think he's fresh. Yeah. He's new. And, I saw a comment on one of the online forums that, we should have known he was going to crash out. Hold on. This guy doesn't ride over his head. We're not talking about James Stewart here. James Stewart is incredibly talented, but to be that fast, you have to take chances. And Ken Roczen's not a risk taker. He's not a risky guy. So I want to just give a shout out to Ken. I hope he did better, because everybody in the sport was kind of just rooting for this kid, because first of all, he's marketable. He's very marketable, and he has something about him that we all kind of just watch, and he's fun. Yeah. He's a fun dude,
Yeah, and he's super professional, and he's just he's just awful. A lot of people are just thinking that he's going to run away with this. I think he got really lucky with that crash. That was a gnarly crash. Yeah. Just to walk
Who's
away.
your now, riders out there? Don't get mad. We're going to be picking favorites here. I'm going to ask Jeff who his favorite rider is this year. Who looks good, and who are you looking at this year?
Well, Dungey's looking good. Tomac's looking really good.
Okay, wait, stop. See, that's what everybody does, is they start listing all these riders. I want to know, when you go home and talk to your wife, who is Jeff going hey, you know what? This is my guy.
I'm going to say Dungey.
Okay, Dungey. There you go, Dungey. You send a jersey to MTA in Corona.
That's right. I need one of those.
Yeah, I would have to say my guy, like I said, Ken Roczen. He's fun. I remember the first time there was word of him coming over from Europe. Yeah. KTM did this, Red Bull. Red Bull did this video of him and his friends, and he was on top of his car. And he was surfing on the hood while his friends were driving his car. And I'm like, oh my God, lawyers, attorneys over here in America would never have riders do any kind of crazy stuff like that. But it was that was his, here I come. Yeah. Here I am, I'm Ken Roczen, I'm fun, and he's kind of solidified that in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, but he's out now, so I guess I got to pick somebody else, right? It's kind of like when your team in the NFL doesn't win the playoffs. You know, Kansas City Chiefs lost out again. And then I put my Green Bay jersey on, and then it's like, oh, okay, now what do I got? I got to go for Pretty Boy, right?
You got to pick it too.
Okay, so our next event coming up is April 15th.
Yeah.
It's the MTA World Two-Stroke Championships. I know MTA, you guys a couple years ago got on board with this, and it's like you just, it's like Donald Trump coming into the business and just making stuff happen. Talk about, the concept a couple years ago with your bosses and the heads. What were you guys, why did you think this was important for you guys?
Well, this is the 8th annual. It's just been just rolling along. I worked at White Brothers. We had the 4-stroke race, and now that 4-stroke's been mainstream, it's like the 2-strokes kind of get left out. There's so many people that are super into 2-strokes. I mean, they're affordable, they're fun to ride. I mean, if you ride a 2-stroke, you feel like a badass, no matter what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, they keep you honest, they keep you on your toes. You can't slack off on a 2-stroke, as much as you can on a 4-stroke. So for all of us, it's been just putting back into the sport, making sure that you're getting people out there riding and outdoors and enjoying the lifestyle, because this is really, it's our business. We want people to go out there and ride and have fun and bring your family out, or just have people take it to the next level and focus on what their passion is, and I miss those days when, you'd see a Honda ad where like you meet the greatest people on a Honda, and you kind of had that feel like it made you get out there and enjoy things, and I feel like we need more of that now.
As MTA, do you guys think the bikes need to come down in cost? Do you guys, what is your guys' opinion as far as the industry? Do you think it'll help business and the industry if the bikes come down in cost, whether they make a 2-stroke or they just find some other way to make 4-strokes cheaper?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of, not just the motorcycles, even side-by-sides, everything's getting so expensive, it's really hard for people to afford to go out there. So I think a lot of people are looking to used bikes just to kind of get in there, and then as soon as they have any trouble with it, if you have a valve problem, you know how to work on it, you kind of just stick it to the side, and they're not really enthusiasts as much as they would be. But yeah, if somebody could afford a new bike that wouldn't break the bank, I think we'd have a lot more people involved in the sport. And I know the cost of everything goes up, the technology and the investments that the factories make. It's just, I remember $3,000. Obviously, I'm dating myself here, but $3,000 would get you a brand new bike when I was young and racing, and now they're 10, 11.
I'm not as old as Jeff. My price would be $5,000. I remember when the bikes were $5,000.
Well, gas was 5 cents a gallon, so when I was a kid. So no, it was it's just, and back then it seemed like a lot, but now I know it's definitely it puts it out of the reach for so many people to get into the sport.
So. This 2-stroke race coming up, what are some of the things that we can look forward to this year? I know you guys tried to do a freestyle show last year, but the wind just cursed us.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. The guys actually threw down a few runs last minute, but it was pretty sketchy. Just they waited till the end of the game. They were hoping the winds would die down and got a little bit calmer, and they still went for it anyway, so I appreciate them going at it. This year, we're kind of still looking at what we can do about, obviously we're getting a lot of prizes together. We're going to have a great turnout. Awesome track, obviously. This track is awesome.
And I always tell people that is when you go to a 2-stroke race, and a lot of millennials and young people don't really know, when you go to a motocross race, you usually have 4-strokes in there, and the lines are just kind of the characteristics to a racetrack are always the same. But when you come to an all 2-stroke race, the track looks just totally different. The lines are crisscrossing, and your strategy as a rider, as a racer, totally changes, because your line you were taking this time, you come around and you'll take 8 different lines so it's really experience to race on a track that has all two strokes on it. But now I know that Glen Helen, we do our best to try to bring in names, and we get a lot of privateers who get on the two-stroke. We've had Mike Lessie, we've had Josh Friesen, we've had what are some of the other names? We've had Bobby Garrison, Robbie Bell, some awesome stars.
Scott Champion, Ryan Hughes.
That's right. And so it's kind of like I'd say a street throwdown with these guys. It's all the locals here in SoCal that come out and get a two-stroke. It's really fun to see. And then you get some guys on the 500s, and I know Bo Barron, the Works side-by-side champion. I mean, Bo Barron's a multi-talented. Anything with a motor underneath him, he's winning. But he's brought out a 500 before, and so it's really cool. It's April 15th, and we're gonna keep pumping this. So you guys, this is something we want to shove down our race fans' throats, because it is one of our big races here at Glen Helen. We have the W Vet Nationals, or the Vet Championships, and then we have this one, and then we have the Outdoor Nationals. Well, another question I wanted to ask you is, I've seen MTA pump shock gear. Can you tell us a little bit about shock gear and how you guys got involved with that?
Well, we actually purchased the brand for North America, so we are the exclusive distributor for the U.S., and then our parent company is exclusive in Canada. So it's been a great brand for us. It's something, as a distributor, you have to have it. The distributor has their clothing brand. So for us, it kind of put us in that even playing field. Obviously we're the newest, the last ones to get the brand, but it's been good for us to go out there, and it adds one more little thing that we can to buy something, they can kind of get everything from us now. And for us, it's put together a supercross team. We have for the West Coast 250, Scott Champion, Chris Aldridge, John Ames. And for the East Coast, which is starting up here in a couple of weeks, we have the Traders on that team. And then we also sponsor, Colton Hack and Richard Taylor, a lot of those guys over here. And so it's been really positive for us to go in there, and the brand hasn't been defined as one thing, so it's kind of open for us to really make what we want out of it.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. Compliments a lot of other brands as well.
Well, that does it here for Fill the Speed. I want to thank Jeff for coming by. You can find MTA on Instagram at MTAdistributing.com or MTA Distributing?
At MTA Distributing.
At MTA Distributing.
Yeah, check it out.
And they're always pumping the events they're involved in. Totally supporting Southern California's racing scene and motocross, side-by-side, ATV stuff. So we appreciate that. And I know some of the other distributors kind of get into the bigger stuff, and it's kind of like they stay near where their homes are. But MTA is here in Corona. They're part of our fabric of our industry here in California. So support them when you go to your dealerships. Ask for MTA products. And now on the next episode, we're trying to get my secret test rider in here to talk about what bikes are great for Glen Helen, and hopefully we can make that happen. He seems to be out of the country every time I try to snag him and get him in here, but
I can fill in.
yeah. Well, you'll have to take Tom White's spot, because he's a professional test rider. He knows what bikes are good and which ones aren't. So that's it. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Glen Helen Raceway, and we'll see you.